I'm here with the Enya Nova Go Sonic versus the Enya Nova Go SP1, and I want to look at the differences here today. I have two of the white versions, but you can get them in different colors as well, and in a lot of different colors, and that's because they're both carbon fiber, so they're completely molded here, so the neck goes all the way through on both of these, which is pretty cool. Now the first obvious difference here is not the buttons, the on buttons, they're quite the same, they look the same, and they have this glow around them, which is pretty cool, but this one is an acoustic and this one is an electric guitar. So those are the main differences here, of course, between the two. Now they both sound really cool. This one is a little bit louder without the guitar on, of course, so you can still hear that. Let's put that one away there and then play this for a second without it being turned on. But of course the magic happens when you turn this on. So in and of itself, I think a pretty thin sounding acoustic guitar. It's not that great, but you get a few cool sounds here, and you can connect this to the Enya app as well as the Nova Go Sonic there. So you can connect both if you have both of those guitars, so the acoustic one and the electric one. I like the electric one just a little bit better, but that's just because I'm more of an electric player. I think the action out of the box on this thing is quite high, so you have to push down quite a bit to make it sound like good playing. You have to push down quite a bit here because the action is quite high, a lot higher than with the electric version there. So it's just a little bit hard to play your chords and that sort of thing. And I also think that the amount of sound that comes out of the amp portion of this is a little bit lower in comparison to the Nova Go Sonic, so you hear your effects just a little bit better. So this is just a little bit of a chorus. This is without that. So you hear just a little bit. I think enough to get like a cool effect, but not that much. Now when you push on the button, you can go to your next effects and you can set all this in the app as well. So now we have a lot of echo here, so we're in like a large hall. And this sort of effect you hear a lot better than like just the chorus one. And then here's also a delay with that echo. Kind of like a tremolo effect here. And back to the chorus. So you have a lot of different effects that you can set on this thing, but I do think it's just a little bit harder to hear like the differences between them because the sound coming out of the body already is already quite loud. So I like it for having that acoustic guitar but still having that echo right from within the guitar, so you don't need to mic this and still have a big sound. I really like the fact that this can do that. The other effects Not so much. I don't use them that much. Now let's go to the other guitar now. Novago Sonic, and this is an electric guitar, and I think the first or one of the first with a built-in speaker here. It's only 5 watts, so it isn't that loud, but it does give you an electric guitar that you can immediately play while sitting down. So there aren't many instruments, electric guitars that can do that. So you don't need a separate amp for this. So you can easily play with this and then listen to that. Bring this to a campfire, so the first electric guitar that you can actually bring to a campfire, so that's also pretty cool. And then you also get a headphone out here, so you can play this silently, and that's also another plus of getting like an electric guitar like this as opposed to the SP1, which you still hear if you're playing it without the amplification as well. So it doesn't really get any louder when you amplify it, it just gives you the option of effects. And this one, well, it's just silent playing, and then you can hear through the headphones what kind of effects you'd hear. Now this one also is connected to the app, so you can set your different modes here, but you can also control that through the button right here. So you can already hear that it is a little bit on here. This is the loudest setting. So it's also a lot more playable because, well, it's an electric guitar, so naturally the action will be a bit lower. But I do think that this action is quite good for an electric guitar, whereas the action on the SP1 is just a little bit high for me. It's not too bad, just a little bit higher. And also effect of having like this carbon fiber body, it's a lot less noticeable than on an acoustic. So I really like the carbon fiber here. It's very, very sturdy. You have a neck through by design, by molding it. So the resonation of the neck is also very cool. And with like the pickups, which are pretty decent, you don't notice the carbon as much as opposed to like a wood guitar. And then you can switch through different pickups. So the bridge position a little bit darker. I do think the neck pickup is just a little bit louder, which makes it a little bit harder to switch like between them in a solo, but you can easily switch between them to get like a little bit more drive out of it when you're switching between like playing chords and then doing like your solo bit. And you also have a push-pull coil split here, so I really like that, so you get a little bit more twang. But it also reduces the volume just a little bit, so when you use that, the volume is just a little bit lower, but I do like the twang that you can get out of it. And then of course you can use the button to go to different sounds as well. And then you also have like a lead sound. Okay, so you can also get a little bit of more of a distortion sound out of there. When you push the button, and if a little bit more, we have more of a lead sound with like an echo in there, a delay, and then you can set all of this in the app, so you have a lot of different guitars and effects that you can choose from, and then go through the app, so that's pretty cool as well. And I get a little bit of a darker sound when you change the pickups here for those higher regions. And even get some feedback from that little amp. So I think that's pretty cool, and it's a lot different than the SP1 here, which is an acoustic guitar. I think you hear the carbon fiber just a little bit more from this acoustic than you would from an electric with like a built-in amp here. And of course, I'm more of an electric guitar player, so I would recommend getting like this one. You get a lot more effect options and tones, and you just hear the guitar a little bit too much here through the effects. But I love the fact that you can get for this price a guitar with effects built in, and I really like the reverb and the echo kind of thing from this, so you get more of a fuller sound just from your acoustic without using like an amp or like a big hole. So for both, well, there are use cases, and I hope this video has helped you make your choice.